The Shadow Man. So I need to tell you about something that happened to me and my family. It's one of those things that you just can't shake off. You see, we live in a pretty normal suburban neighborhood. Nothing out of the ordinary ever really happens. But then this one night, everything changed. It was a quiet evening, and we were just settling down for the night. The air was still, and the only sound was the distant hum of crickets. Suddenly we heard a noise outside. At first, we thought it was just the wind, but then we saw a shadow moving across the window. It was unlike anything we had ever seen before. My heart raced as I grabbed my wife and child and held them close. We were all terrified, unsure of what to do next. Shadow seemed to linger, almost as if it was watching us. I could feel the tension in the air, thick and suffocating. We didn't dare move, hoping that whatever it was would just go away. Minutes felt like hours as we waited in silence, every creak of the house making us jump. Finally, the shadow disappeared, but the fear remained. That night changed everything for us. We never felt truly safe in our home again. It all started one ordinary afternoon when my wife was going through our daughter's backpack, looking for her homework. She stumbled upon a strange drawing that immediately caught her attention. Our little girl is just 6 years old, so we initially thought it was just another one of her innocent doodles. But this one was different, unsettling even. It depicted a tall, faceless figure standing ominously in the corner of her room. The figure had no features, just a blank, eerie face. We couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. Why would our daughter draw something so creepy? Was it just her imagination, or was there something more to it? We decided to ask her about it, hoping for a simple explanation. When we asked her, she looked at us with wide eyes and said, "He visits me at night." Chills ran down our spines. Who was this faceless figure? Was it a figment of her imagination, or was there something more sinister lurking in the shadows of her room? We knew we had to find out. We asked her about it, trying to keep our voices calm, though our hearts were racing. She looked at us with those innocent eyes that seemed to hold a world of their own, and said, "That's the Shadow Man. He watches me sleep every night." And let me tell you, that sent chills down our spines. I mean, what do you even say to that? We exchanged worried glances, trying to make sense of it all. Was it just a figment of her imagination, or something more sinister? The room felt colder. We had to find a way to comfort her, to make her feel safe. But how do you fight something you can't see? We decided to stay with her that night, keeping a watchful eye, hoping to catch a glimpse of this so-called Shadow Man. We read her favorite bedtime story, tucked her in, and left a nightlight on. As the hours passed, we couldn't shake the feeling of being watched ourselves. Every creak and groan of the house seemed amplified, and our nerves were on edge. We were determined to protect her no matter what. But that night, nothing. He seemed to want her alone. At first, my wife dismissed it as our daughter's overactive imagination. But then our daughter began waking up with deep scratches on her arms. Our home security camera captured something even more terrifying. At 3 a.m., our daughter sat up in bed, speaking in a whisper to someone who wasn't there. That was the last straw. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for spine-chilling horror content. Please share with family and friends. The Forgotten Friend. I thought I'd seen it all. I've been teaching preschool for years. Kids say weird things all the time. But this still keeps me up at night, because I can't explain it, and I don't think I ever will. It started with Daniel, a quiet kid, always in his own world. Kept to himself, never caused trouble, never drew attention. The kind of kid you'd barely notice if he wasn't always drawing. Every single day, same thing. A picture of himself and someone else. Always the same. I didn't think much of it at first, just a phase. Lots of kids have imaginary friends, it's normal. But something about Daniel's drawings felt wrong, unsettling even. The other figure, always faceless. No matter how many times I saw it, it never had a face. Just an outline of a child. But the arms, long, unnaturally long, like they were stretching out to reach something. Too long, bony, stretched out like they were reaching for him. It was unsettling to look at. Every single drawing the same thing. The faceless figure always there, always the same. One day I finally asked him, "Who's that Daniel?" I needed to know. He barely looked up, just shrugged like it was no big deal. "My friend. Okay, sure. That's normal, right?" But I kept watching. I couldn't shake the feeling. And something about the way he drew, it was so precise, so detailed, like he knew exactly what this friend looked like. Every line, every detail was exact, like he'd seen them before, like he was drawing from memory. And then one day he did something that made my stomach turn. It was unexpected. He handed me a drawing, smiling, proud of his work. "This is my friend," he said. "He's waiting for me." His words sent chills down my spine. I looked at the picture. Same faceless figure, the same eerie presence. But this time the arms were wrapped around Daniel. It was like the figure was holding him. I felt uneasy, but what could I do? Kids have wild imaginations. Or so I tried to convince myself. So I just smiled and said something like, "That's nice," trying to hide my discomfort. But then I saw something that changed everything. It was a moment that would alter my understanding of the past. I was helping clean out an old storage room at the school, piles of dusty books, broken chairs, and forgotten relics of a bygone era. Forgotten lesson plans from decades ago, remnants of a time long past. And then an old yearbook caught my eye, from before I even worked here, a relic from a different generation. I flipped through it out of curiosity, and then I stopped dead in my tracks. My breath caught in my throat, because there he was, staring back at me, the faceless figure from Daniel's drawings, now with a face. But in this picture, he had a face, a real identity, a real kid. Same height, same build, eerily similar. Something about him felt familiar. I checked the name, my heart pounding. That's when my hands started shaking uncontrollably. The boy in the photo had died tragically, decades ago, right here, in this very school. And I swear to you, I had never seen that picture before in my life. No one had ever talked about this kid. It was as if he had been erased from history. But Daniel, somehow he knew. He had seen him. He had been drawing him over and over as if trying to tell us something. And then the next day, Daniel stopped coming to school. I called his parents. They sounded confused. Said they'd dropped him off that morning, same as always. But he never walked into class. He never showed up anywhere. They checked security footage, called the police. Nothing. Daniel was just gone. And the last thing I ever heard about him, his mom found one final drawing in his room. It was Daniel holding hands with his friend. Some friends should stay forgotten. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for spine-chilling horror content. Please share with family and friends. Mommy's new friend. You ever have a moment where something just doesn't feel right? Like your brain hasn't caught up yet, but deep down you know something's off? That's exactly what happened to me. I'm a single mom. Just me and my 5-year-old son, Josiah. We live in a quiet neighborhood. The kind where the biggest drama is someone not bringing in their trash cans. Safe, normal, predictable. At least that's what I thought. It started with a drawing. Josiah loves to draw. He covers the fridge with scribbles of stick figures. Me, him, our cat, the house. But one day he handed me a picture and I laughed at first. Wow, buddy, you're getting really good. But then I looked closer. It was us, me, him, and someone else. A tall figure standing right beside me, drawn in thick, jagged strokes. Something about it made my stomach turn. The face was just a scribble, hollow eyes, a stretched out mouth. My first thought, maybe it was from a cartoon. So I asked, "Who's this, sweetheart?" Josiah grinned. "That's Mommy's friend. He watches us when you sleep." I laughed. Because what else do you do? Kids have wild imaginations. They make up imaginary friends, monsters, all that. But my hands felt cold. I asked, "Where did you see him?" Josiah shrugged. "He's always here." That night I couldn't stop thinking about it. The drawing. The way he said it so normally. But I told myself I was being ridiculous until I heard the footsteps. Soft, slow, just outside my bedroom door. I held my breath, heart pounding in my ears. My brain scrambled for a logical explanation. Josiah? No, he was asleep. I could hear his soft breathing from his room. The hallway floor creaked again. I reached for my phone, turned on the flashlight, and shined it toward the door. Nothing. I told myself the house was settling. Old pipes, wind, whatever. I needed to get some sleep. But before I turned off the light, I glanced at his drawing again, and that sick feeling crept back up my throat. The next day I asked him about it again. "Hey, Josiah, what does Mommy's friend look like?" He thought for a second, then whispered, "He doesn't have a face, but he smiles at you." I didn't know what to say. My body went ice cold. That night I locked every door, checked every window twice. I even left a light on in the hallway. But at 2:40 a.m., I woke up. Something felt wrong. I listened. Silence, then breathing, not mine, not Josiah, right outside my bedroom door. I wanted to move. I wanted to grab my son, run, scream, anything. But I couldn't. I was frozen. Then the handle on my bedroom door turned. A slow, deliberate twist. I sat up, heart slamming against my ribs, whispering to myself, "No, no, no, no." And then it stopped. Silence. Nothing. I didn't sleep after that. I sat up until the sun rose, clutching a kitchen knife, ears straining for any sound. When Josiah woke up, he looked at me and tilted his head. "You look tired, Mommy." I swallowed. "Yeah, honey, I am." He climbed onto my lap and yawned. Then, with complete innocence, he whispered, "It's okay, Mommy. Your friend left. He said he'll come back when you're alone again." Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for spine-chilling horror content. Please share with family and friends.